I think the challenge with anything actually is making it real. You know, is making it as true as possible. I mean, so there actually wasn't a whole lot of research per se, because I mean, you know, basically I have a lot of experience about, you know, being in a relationship and being a parent, which is kind of what this, you know, this movie is. I mean, it's an exploration of what it means to be kind of in midlife and be with a partner for a long time and feel like you're in a place where your life is changing, and it's about kids growing up and defining themselves as different from their parents and yet staying connected. You know, it's really, they're very, very universal themes in the movie, and I think that's what makes it so gratifying to watch, and then also for me to play. I think that we are seeing more and more families, more and more homosexual families in the United States. I mean, certainly for my children who go to school in New York City, and they know families where there are two moms or there are two dads. There was actually recently a study in the New York Times, on the front page of the New York Times, following gay families over the course of 24 years. And they basically kind of, you know, charted the growth of these children and see how they fared as adults. And what they found, and this is the first study done with gay families, is the children were well adjusted, they had been well educated, they were loved, desired, socially adept. They were, you know, basically, you know, wonderful families and wonderful children. So yes, I do think that homosexual families are more and more common in the United States, and all over the world. The autobiography first. Lisa Cholodenko, at the time that she was writing this movie, was talking with her girlfriend, with her partner, about starting a family. And they were kind of trying to decide how to go about it, and they decided they were going to use a sperm donor. At the same time that she was starting to write this project, she ran into a friend of hers, Stuart Blumberg, who became her co-writer, and they just started talking about their work, and it turned out that Stuart himself had been a sperm donor in college. So they thought, you know, what you know, they both had experience on either side of it, and so started to write this movie. So yeah, I think Lisa, you know, I think this was an exploration of what that means, you know, for kids to grow up and wonder who their biological father is. So it's sort of, yeah, it starts out with that thematically, but I also think it's really a meditation on what it is to be a family, and, you know, what a relationship is, and how do you raise children? How do you let them go? You know, and, you know, in response to this thing about the Snow White syndrome, I don't see the women in this case, the mothers in this case, as being competitive with their children. They're both, I think, remarkable, if flawed, parents. You know, these children are children that they love and have enjoyed raising and have kind of done their best with. You know, they're obviously smart and nice and caring. So I don't know. I mean, I think we've proven again and again that what children need are two loving parents. I don't know whether it matters if they're moms or they're dads, or if they're a mom and a dad, but I think if children have two parents that care about them, they're in pretty great shape. In my 20s, I worked mostly in television and in theater and you know, and regional theater and off Broadway and very kind of small things. And I would audition for movies, but I never really got them. And then, at the very beginning of the 90s, I did a bunch of small movies sort of back to back, and they all came out around the same time. They were Safe, Shortcuts, and Vanya on 42nd Street. And they came out within a year of each other, and it was, suddenly I had a film career where I hadn't before. I mean, there really had been nothing. And so what happened to me was I sort of collided at a time with the independent film movement in the United States, and it changed absolutely everything for me. I don't know that I would be a film actress necessarily. I mean, I certainly didn't get the parts, like I said, in, you know, when I was first starting out. So I'd say those three movies all at once really changed everything. You know, I think, I mean, like I said before when I addressed this question about families, I think whatever you choose to be, you know, your family is your family. And the interesting thing that Nick says to Paul, you know, Paul so very much feels that this is his family, these are his children, and she says, no, this is my family, you know. And the difference is, he is their biological parent, but he has not put in the time So you can't turn around and waltz into a child's life and say, I am your parent. Parenting is about time. Family is about time. It's about that investment. It's about having having a little child and ushering them to adulthood. And that's the most important thing you can do for a child, whether you're a mother or a father, whatever. That's really what your job is. I don't know. I think it's not an issue of gay sex versus straight sex. It's an issue of married sex versus not married sex. I think that's the point that Lisa's making, is that these women have been together for a long time, and clearly they're experiencing some dysfunction in their relationship. If things are going smoothly, I don't know that Jules would have had the affair. Things are not going smoothly for Jules in her life, in her relationship. She feels disconnected in her, in her work. She feels in her parenting. So that's sort of what you're seeing in the film. So I don't think Lisa's making a point about gay sex versus straight sex. We live in a time when it's become very clear that sexual orientation is about biology. So we are who we are. I used to say that about my kids, that I feel like my kids were present from the minute they were born. They're there. We're all there. So to refute that, to say that there's something wrong with homosexuality when there's a historical perspective for it, and there have been many great people and thinkers and whatever, who've been gay. Certainly, currently, like I said, where there's studies of gay families where everybody's happy and healthy and everything you want your children to be. So it's archaic, it's unfortunate, and it's embarrassing when people continue to perpetrate those untruths. First I'll address the age question, because honestly, because I started, I got the question earlier about what changed my career, and I said these 3 films came out at the same time, and that when they came out, I think I was 32, or 31 or 32, I can't remember when they all came out, but because of that, all anybody's asked me about my entire career is when my career is going to be over. So I don't know, you can always, like, that age question comes up again and again and again. I don't know what to say, to it. I honestly think that we kind of make it, by continually hammering this issue of age in the media, we make it much worse. I think there are plenty of examples of people who work. Like I said, for example, my career didn't even start until after I was 30, my film career, anyway. So yeah, so I don't really know. In terms of the mother, actress, parenting thing, I feel like I'm very, very lucky to have the opportunity to have a job and have a family. And that's what we are all aiming for, Freud says you need love and work, you need the both. And to be fortunate enough to have both is just incredible. And I continue to be kind of grateful every day. And it's something that I don't take for granted, that I have a wonderful family and that I have work that I enjoy.